Hello, good morning, everybody. You're watching on your TVs in Texas and Louisiana on the Smart Money Culture TV network, as well as joining around the world on all these wonderful platforms that we stream on. X is really just taken over, but we are building our Rumble channel as well. Impact Money Show. You check us out over there. Give us a follow, as well as on Crypto Cake YouTube. And of course, my X account is always one of my favorites. A lot going on today. We have an emergency meeting of the 57 Middle Eastern countries over in Saudi Arabia. They are trying to decide what the response is going to be to the assassination of the Palestinian leader there in Tehran. They do not want the general consensus is that they do not want a regional war, and so they're trying to figure out how to respond and not start a regional war. None of those countries want a regional war, especially they just don't. Meanwhile, you have there's more nonsense or just horribleness coming out of the camps. They're more of, I guess they're raping more of the Palestinian prisoners there. You know, if you remember back during Iraq, there was all kinds of junk that came out with the U.S. and what we were doing to the prisoners there. Is a bad situation when you have that type of war situation and war prisoners for extended period of times and no end in sight. So hopefully they're going to be able to find some type of situation there. The markets are in a cautious recovery. Really, I feel like people just don't know kind of what's going to happen. And I understand that. Bank of Japan is still in trouble. That carry trade that we've been talking about there, that is a mess for the entire world. And they had so right now, Matt will talk about it more, but it's going up at the moment, but now it's starting to retreat and with less volume. And we could be it looks like we're going to be in for more trouble coming out of there. And you saw what that did to the global markets. Bitcoin and different assets are in a recovery. Bitcoin has had a good 24 hours. That is clear. Not the Dow futures as well are up about 300 points today. So we are in a recovery. Gold and silver are pretty tepid, as well as oil. Oil's fairly low for the moment. I guess gold is basically flat, and silver down about 0.5%. Is that right? No. Yes. Apparently. Pretty flat. We're still way off the marks. I mean, I was talking to my buddy last night, and it was interesting because we had a conversation a while ago, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm just kind of letting it all ride on the market." He says, "I just have everything in the market." He's like, "That's all the money I'm going to leave my daughter, and this, that, and the other." And he's like, "I don't know. I could pull it out, put it in something more, something safer," which I did recommend he did. So a lot of people are in that situation where they were riding highs, and then now that money is gone for the time being. Hopefully it'll come back quickly. A lot of it is going to depend on the war over there in the Middle East. I am happy to see that Putin is involved over there, because I feel like his style of dealing, he knows how to deal with NATO, which is really what we have going on over there now. Even across the world, we have BRICS and NATO. That's the new, I don't know if you can call it Cold War. That's the new war. And he has obviously, I think, advised not to have some knee-jerk shoot from the hip reaction over there, and that so far has been what Iran has done. Hezbollah, of course, seems a little bit more trigger happy, as they are, right? That's the deal. But in general, they all just need to relax. That's what I'm saying. They all need to relax. So Trump, Elon interview. This is going to break the internet. Trump came out on his Truth account and said that he's going to be on X live with the great Elon Musk on Monday for an interview. And this is going to break the internet. I mean, I put out a funny post. I mean, the servers for X, it's going to be just absolutely crazy. Everybody's going to watch it around the world. It's not just in our countries now. The entire world. I was talking to one of my buddies in Australia yesterday, and he says, God, I hope that Trump wins, because if Trump doesn't win, I don't know. I'm not very optimistic about what's going to happen in the world. And as well, everybody thinks that if Trump wins, that the crypto is going to go through the roof. I don't guarantee that. It might. But if what I saw last time, the markets did go up. It wasn't like immediate though, I feel like. But anyway, optimism is a funny thing. Markets are emotional. And so if there's optimism, then the markets will go up because people think that they should go up. Markets are emotional. So it'll probably go up. I don't know if it'll just blast into the stratosphere. Now, if they do what they're talking about and they start buying, all this Bitcoin and everything else, then man, it's going to be great, guys. I mean, it really is going to be a really great run, which is another reason why I don't know. I mean, are they going to let him win? I don't know. We still have the magic electronic voting machines, and we still have all the mail-in ballots. So I don't think we're too big to rig with 20 million or so, according to Tucker, newcomers that have come into the country. I don't think we're too big to rig. We are winning. We're winning states by like 30,000 votes, 50,000 votes, 100,000 votes, less sometimes. So there's 20 million newcomers, right? So who came illegally, who aren't illegal anymore. They have asylum status and they're on dole and they're getting paid and they're, by all appearances, being encouraged to vote. So if they vote in strategic places, it's all over. They don't even need the magic electronic voting machines. They just can overwhelm the polls. So I don't know. I know that the central banking cartel has taken the Federal Reserve here in the U.S. They have taken a major position through the ETFs and the other banks in Bitcoin, and now it's very, very controllable by them. And one of the ways I talk about quite often that they remove liquidity from the markets by crashing the commodities markets, which is, of course, just what just happened, and crashing the markets. And as I was just saying with my buddy, who's been letting all his not all his money, but a lot of his money ride in the market, he doesn't have that now. And of course, maybe he wasn't spending it anyway, right, at this moment, but now he's not going to spend some of the other money that he has as easily as he would have, right? And so it has that effect of making people hold the money. And if you've, in crypto, it's easy for us to understand, because if there's a lot of coins out there, then, and people are selling them, then of course the price goes down. So if there's a lot of dollars out there and people are selling them, they're using them, the price goes down. That's the way it works. And it's the same way with the dollars, of course, just on a much, much larger scale. So we'll see. Another thing I covered a number of times actually, and that is that the federal tax is for nothing more than just the burn. So, and it's an idea, and I've been putting it out there because it is important for people to understand our monetary policy right now by the central banking cartel is totally different than what you think. You think that they're collecting income tax in order to pay things, but actually that is just the burn. It's the burn. Now, it does happen to be the exact amount that we pay for the interest on the now $35 trillion in debt. But basically, it's just the burn. There's no mechanism for the government to really take that money and then use it again. The way the works is the government tells the banking cartel, or tells the Federal Reserve, we need this much money. Federal Reserve says, okay, print this much money. The Treasury prints the money. And that's the way it works. And then when they take in the tax money, really that is just the burn. And again, that's something that people in crypto understand more too, because we'll have a burn, right? They'll burn, whatever, however much of it. And everybody will know that those coins, that currency is gone forever. And then they might get excited. It might bring the price up or whatever. And that's one way that the central bank controls inflation, is the burn. And that is, the burn is taking the money from you so that you can't spend it. That's all it is now. They're not taking it from you to use it per se. I mean, they're redistributing it. They need to be able to give the money to the migrants, the newcomers. They need to be able to spend the money on the wars and not have inflation go up even more than it already has. So they have to take it away from you so that you can't spend it, and then they can spend it in other places. And they're very good at it. The more and more calls that everything's going to crash, and it might. I've been saying that the dollar is going to crash, and this thing is all going to come tumbling down for 10 years. As I've been doing this, I've realized that there are a lot of tools at the disposal. And if you could tax 335 million people as much as you wanted, would you go broke? I wouldn't. I would be totally fine. The CIA and the Mossad continue to try to pin July 13th on Iran. It's really kind of laughable. And I get a little bit of pushback when I say the Mossad, but I mean, remember that Netanyahu came here to Congress and pitched that it was Iran. I mean, and Crooks, I mean, by all appearances, this kid Crooks, which, I mean, who knows, but he appears to be the shooter. I know there's like 50 different shooters now, 50 different videos, who knows, but Crooks was Jewish. And like, it's just weird. Iran, really, guys? Like, come on, give me a break. So nobody's buying it, but it is, they want war with Iran so bad. And that's another reason why I'm so glad that Putin is involved over there. Just calm it down. And, we don't have to like each other, and we don't have to trust each other. We don't have to like each other, but let's just stop the killing. Let's stop the killing. Let the kids have a future. We don't have to like each other. It's okay. It's all right. If we stop killing each other, though, maybe we'll like each other a little bit more. But we just need to stop the killing. But to say that Iran is behind the July 13th assassination attempt on Trump is just crazy. And then something else came out over the last 24 hours, and that is it's not credible. It's not credible to say that Iran's behind it. It's just baloney. And then the other thing that came out over the last 24 hours is there was an attempt on Putin's life that they foiled, and that was on the 28th. So 15 days after the assassination attempt on Trump, they tried to assassinate Putin. And, I put out a post. I said, who do you think gave the order for the two assassinations? And, that's a big question. It's like, who stopped the counting on the last election? Who stopped it? Who ordered the stopping of the counting in 8 states? Well, who ordered the assassination of the two of the biggest political figures in the world? And that's an important question. Let's talk more about the markets here. I have the great Matt Dixon. Sir Matt, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good morning, Bruce. Morning, everybody.
Good morning. How's your new computer working out?
It's perfect. Just
awesome.
A few little issues. I should be able to sort these things out after all these years in tech. But anyway,
I know, right? It's always funny when guys like us have tech problems.
Yeah.
People are like, really? Oh, shut up.
I'm not sure, by the way, what you said about Iran, about Israel wanting war with Iran. I mean, they were very, very, very restrained on the response to the, when Iran attacked them with multiple missiles and they had to use.
I mean, that wasn't restrained. You know what I mean? We obviously disagree on it. It's okay to disagree on it. But I think that Israel, the Greater Israel Project is real. They want that land. They want part of Iran. They want part of the different countries around there. They believe that's their land. It says it in their book. And if you look at how they even run in Palestine, I mean, they've killed so many people, and they just take those houses and they don't give those people anything. And then they tell the whole world that Palestine never even existed. They tell them that it never even existed. And half the world, I mean, in my country, people running around saying there's no real Palestinians. Palestinians aren't real. That's just fake people, fake country. And it's horrible. It's horrible. Anyway, we shouldn't get into it because we do disagree on it.
We're probably best not to get into that. Into something we probably do agree on, which is the markets.
Yes, agreed.
So I'll share my screen as per usual. Got some good stuff today. So hopefully you can see my screen to start with.
Oh yeah, look at that. S&P 500.
Yeah, S&P 500. So we'll look at a couple of charts today to try to ascertain where we're at in this correction that we've had, whether it's a correction or whether it's actually we're now beginning a new impulse down. And as I've always said, when you have three waves like this, it could actually be the beginning of a 5-wave move down, or it could be an ABC complete correction and we move to new all-time highs. So anyone would say, okay, so you're telling us nothing. Either it's going to go up higher or it's going to go down lower. But that's not the case. There's things that we can draw from this, that we can learn from this. So potentially, we do have in this move from the top to the what I've got labeled as 1 or A, we do potentially have 5 waves. So this could be wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and wave 5. And it just about obeys the rules because we can see that this potential wave 4 here, moving up here, I put the line on, does not overlap this wave 1 down here. It just fractionally doesn't overlap. So it abides by the rules. So this is a 5-wave move, basically. It is a 5-wave move, but it can still be wave 1 or wave A. This is most clearly a 3-wave move, a correction in wave 2 or wave B. So that's perfectly good so far. Wave 1 or A, wave 2 or B. And then this impulsive move down here looks very much like a wave C or a wave 3, which again is in 5 waves. Now, what's interesting is wave 3 and C can both be about 1.618. It's perfectly reasonable. And in fact, a wave 3 needs to be at least 1.618 times wave 1. I would say that's, it's not a 100% rule, but it's almost always the case that, well, certainly wave 3 is usually 1.618 times either wave 1 or wave 5, but it's nearly always wave 1. So we've got a perfectly valid wave 3 or wave C here. So it still could be A, B, or C. What was interesting, at the top of the move here, we had, and I'll just draw in the other line here, we did have some regular bearish divergence. So you can see that we had higher highs on price and lower lows on RSI. That's telling us that's regular bearish divergence. That's telling you the market was going to turn here, which is precisely what it did. It turned on the bottom when we saw that divergence in place. And what you look for when you see that divergence, and the first divergence we saw was here, not here, really. In fact, it wasn't here. First proper divergence was here, followed by red candles. So we knew that was going to be a sell-off beginning up here. And we warned about it in advance, and it's what's happened. Now, the issue is now, is this ABC or 1, 2, 3? Now, whichever it is, if it's ABC, we're going to get some movement higher, which you've had. If it's 1, 2, 3, we're going to get movement higher again. So on both scenarios, we could have bought here. And that's what we're shouting from the rooftops at the depth of this market sell-off. We're saying this is a serious opportunity to buy into risk assets. So we have moved up. Now, the issue right now is probably not the best time to jump in, into long positions or short positions for that matter. So now, if you did jump in,
it's a scary moment. You wanted to jump in as everything was crashing. I mean, gosh, the movement on Doge, and some of these other ones is just actually of the entire market. If you caught that dip, take some profits now, guys.
And there were lots of good signs there that the dip was at least going to stop for at least the short term, and we've moved up nicely. The problem is we're in no man's land now. We're virtually in the middle of the next important level and also the lower level below. So the market can go up or down. So I wouldn't take a position here, not a fresh position. If I had jumped in long down here, I'd protect some profit, maybe at this level, protect around about 50% of the profit I got with a stop loss down here. And potentially we can go to new highs, all-time highs. And if we do, I actually think there's nothing stopping us going to 6,000 on the S&P. So people have laughed at that, but it's entirely possible. If this is an ABC correction down, I think we're going to get a powerful impulse to the upside, probably to take us to around that 6,000. The reason this is important, if this is indeed a wave 1, 2, 3, as we said before, wave 4 cannot overlap into wave 1. So this current movement up, as we can see the green candles moving up here, the price is not allowed to move into territory of wave 1. If it does, we know it's not a wave 1. We know then, we have confirmation it's not wave 1, 2, 3. It was actually ABC, and we're moving impulsively to the upside, and we're going to take out the all-time high. So that's why it's important to look at the alternates on the wave count and then look at invalidation levels. So this is a very, very important one. If we were to break above this level and then probably retest it, I would be looking at maybe buying in with a stop loss just below and thinking we're going to go higher. So that just tells you there's a bit of uncertainty, but things are looking really positive at the moment. Futures are looking really strong on the S&P, on the Dow. I see FTSE is up massively this morning. So it's looking quite good.
And the Asian markets are looking good as well.
Yeah, we've seen a really good rebound. So let's just take a little look at the one that we were focusing on, and don't want to flog it too much, but this was really, really important. I'll go slightly long.
The Japanese. Oh, okay. Here we are. Yeah, the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen.
Dollar against the yen, yeah. So what I'm just showing here is, this is very, very important. So what we've seen in fact, I'll just go back to that 4 hour to show you, because what we saw a really good movement up on the S&P, and we've got an exactly correlated movement up here on dollar yen. This carry trade is absolutely vital. When we see dollar yen going higher and higher and higher, it means basically that risk markets are going higher and higher. They're highly correlated. So that's why we're seeing, if you look at dollar yen going higher, we can look at Bitcoin here again going higher. The risk assets, they're going higher. So this was a really good indicator, because we could see that we had, and if I drew this in properly, it's maybe if we go on a daily, it probably shows it better. So I'll just shrink the chart a little bit to show that we can see the regular bearish divergence. So we just talked about bearish divergence on the S&P 500, which told us of a downturn. And remember, I said this is correlated with the stock markets, S&P 500, Bitcoin, etc. So again, we saw regular bearish divergence. So even over the long term, back to what was the date here? Back October 2020, not 2020, sorry, October 2022. From there to the current, just a couple of days ago or a few days ago, we saw regular bearish divergence where we saw higher highs on price and we saw lower highs on RSI. But even we saw a multiple bearish divergence. So again, we saw, we can actually move this one right up here. Again, we saw, regular bearish divergence where we saw higher highs on price and lower highs on RSI. So both long-term and short-term were both telling us there was going to be a sell-off here in the dollar against the yen. And it happened to coincide with the Japanese raising interest rates from 0.1 to 0.25%. So again, the charts...
there were the signs were everywhere.
Absolutely. And the charts were telling you that something was going to happen. And then the something that was going to happen was what you would think is a almost random event, the timing of this rate increase from the Japanese. And that's what spurred or sparked this massive yen appreciation, the unwinding of the carry trade, where basically people who had borrowed in yen, invested in risk assets, they then have to repay the yen very, very quickly. They can't wait for the yen to appreciate more, because the more the yen appreciates, the more the debt appreciates that they have to pay back. So that's why there's a very, very rapid unwind here. And that's why it was such a rapid crash. So there's different reasons for different crashes, different corrections, etc. The unwinding of the carry trade is a very, very powerful driver of markets. Now, I don't think this is completely over at the moment, but for the time being, we became, as we can see here, oversold dollar yen. So we saw the RSI go way below this level here, the 30 level, which anything below 30 you call oversold. Now, we know that markets can go oversold temporarily, but they don't stay oversold for a long, long time. Every time we get oversold, it comes back. So we got quite oversold here. We got to right down to 12.6 on the RSI. That's very massively oversold. And we can see here all that red shaded areas showing the oversold situation. And so markets need to correct the oversold situation. Doesn't mean we can actually get a small movement up and a big rise in RSI to correct RSI oversold situation, and we can sell off again. So it doesn't tell you anything about long-term moves, but short-term, it's just telling you we're going to get a rebound. So at the moment, we're not quite clear whether this is just a short-term rebound or whether it's a long-term recovery. But I like to look at Bitcoin to try to ascertain again where we're at in this recovery. So you can see from the depths of the sell-off at 49,000, it was just about 49,000 there. We've moved up really nicely. We're actually running another second really solid green candle on the daily chart here. So we had a spike down. So this is very typical of a spike low where the market tests lower, sharply lower, and fails to carry through and actually then goes up higher. And that's precisely what happened here. We can see market tested lower, failed and started to go higher. Again, tested lower a bit and started to go higher. So normally at turning points, when the market's about to go higher, it normally tests the lower prices, it fails and then goes higher. So at every bottom of the market, you'll see these tests lower. Same at the tops as well. If the market is trying to go higher but hasn't got the momentum to do it, it just tests higher, fails and goes lower. So right now we have quite a good candlestick signal that the market is definitely trying higher. And at the moment, it looks quite impulsive. And if we looked on shorter time frames, but before I do that, I just wanted to focus on this movement here. Now, what's very important is it potentially, you could call it a leading diagonal. It's the one situation, or there's one or two situations, in fact, where you can get overlap on a 5-wave move, and it's still a valid 5-wave impulsive move. So that could potentially mean if this were the beginning of a leading diagonal down, then that's a possibility. But what we need to check is, whatever the situation, wave 3 is not allowed to be the shortest wave. So what I did, I measured the magnitude of what could be the first wave, what could be the first wave down. So just get it correct at the top there. So that's from the top to the bottom of this first wave. That's 100%. So then I can compare that with wave 3, which is we've got 1, 2, 3. We can see that wave 3 actually here is longer. So actually it is potentially a valid. That's interesting. So again, it's good to do this stuff on the fly. Potentially we have a valid wave 3 there. So wave 3 is not the shortest wave. In fact, wave 1 is the shortest wave there. So potentially that tells us that this could realistically be a leading diagonal. So we're not definitely out of the woods. And again, I suppose that harks back to what I was telling you about the S&P 500. We're in no man's land. If we break above this level, then we know this is a correction, and we know we're very, very, very confident we're going to push higher. And again, if you look at RSI here with the S&P, we went down to almost oversold levels, and we're pushing up really nicely. So looking positive, looking really hopeful. But actually, this is important because I just showed you the Bitcoin didn't have any clarity over whether that was an impulsive move to the downside. Solana gives us that clarity. So this is amazing. This is why you look at correlated assets. So we look at Solana here, and again, we can measure the first. So potentially this is wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So potentially some kind of leading diagonal on the way down. Doesn't look like it. It would be, let's just see, it would be to, yeah, It doesn't look like a leading diagonal because, again, the waves, we've got a big wave 1, which is bigger than wave 3, which is smaller than wave 5. So in other words, wave 3 would be the shortest. That's not possible. So that tells us that this is a correction to the downside. So what we've had is a 5-wave move for A. So that's wave 1, wave 2, big wave 3, as we'd expect, wave 4, ABC wave 4, and wave 5, that's A wave. Then we've got a 3, 3, 5 for the B wave, and then we've got a powerful C wave down here. So we have an ABC, and it can't be 1, 2, 3. It is ABC. So that tells me that we're going to push to new new highs above this local high of $209 for Solana. So that tells me if we reach 209 on Solana, I believe we're going to be challenging all-time highs on Bitcoin. So that tells me that Bitcoin is looking really positive and impulsive to the upside. So I'm actually really hopeful, and it confirms what we said the other day. We were both saying we're buying into these markets. As I said, when I saw 210 on Solana, sorry, 100, keep saying 210, 110 on Solana, and we're now at 153, 153.60 or something. That's a massive gain in such a short period of time. And we're saying across the board, the assets, even Doge was looking, although we dipped below our particular buy area, if we bought in these areas. And again, look at this spike below. That's what I was telling you, that market tests lower and fails and goes higher. Again, after the sell-off over the weekend, we tested lower and actually failed to push lower and pushed up higher. So I'm reasonably positive about all of these assets. Gold is, sorry, not gold. Well, actually, they're both pushed up a little bit. And as I say, they're always correlated, or they tend to be highly correlated, gold and oil. So we got a very nice move down. I think actually that shows us oil, which is looking as though it might move a bit higher, but gold is actually a better chart. It's actually gone very nicely the way we were looking at some kind of ending diagonal here. So I think that gold, although it's pushing a bit higher, may push down a bit more potentially. If it's an ending diagonal, normally it works within trend lines, as I've got drawn here with the dotted lines. So I'd expect we may see a little bit lower on gold and then push higher again to new all-time highs. So I'm actually still bullish. I'm always saying this, I'm bullish gold, because I think we're going to be visiting new all-time highs very soon on gold.
Yep.
We've seen a really nice bounce back on XRP. And again, we did say that we got quite a clear W down, X up, and ABC Y down. So from there, we moved up impulsively in 5 waves, and we can actually see that quite clearly. If we open it out a little bit, you can see from the bottom, from this C, we've got a wave 1 up, 2 down, 3 up, 4 down, 5 up. That's 5 waves up, and then we've got to move down. Or the 5 waves could even be to here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we can have basically a 5, 3, 5 correction, and then we're moving higher again. So again, I'm quite bullish XRP, actually really bullish XRP. I think, although it's been a bit of a laggard, I think there's real potential, because I would expect XRP to break above that high we talked about when the SEC news came out last July. So over a year ago now, the SEC news. I mean, amazing how time flies. I remember trading it actively. I know you did well trading it upside. I did well trading it downside. So we both did well in different ways. But that's over a year ago now. We saw the SEC news come out with XRP. It drove the price higher, and then we've had a really corrective movement. We can see it's corrective, completely almost sideways. It's basically very much a bear flag kind of movement. You can see a flag waving in the wind almost, with this flagpole here, and then a flag waving in the wind. And we've got a very, very nice spike lower where it tested lower. Same every time, actually. Just look at this. Spike lower here, price went higher. Spike lower here, price went higher. Spike, little bit spike lower here, price went higher. Big spike low here, price went higher. Spike low here, price higher. And again, just recently over the weekend, spike low, failed, and price pushing higher. So if this is indeed a WXY, which it looks like, then we should push higher, and we should push above this previous level of 90 odd cents, 93 cents. So I'm actually bullish. I think we're going to get a good bull run. And a lot of people were saying, that's it, the markets have peaked, we're never going to see 6,000 on the S&P. And I respectfully disagree, although there is no certainty. There is no certainty, but I think things are looking positive. We are going to see an interest rate reduction. Some people, I think, were crazily saying we need to see 75 basis points. Clearly, we don't want to see that. We don't want to see the dollar falling off a cliff.
Right.
Now we know there's going to be a rate reduction. I think we're basically 100% sure there's going to be a rate reduction in September. It's already been factored in with that weakness of the dollar, and we've already had the yen appreciation with the yen increasing the interest rate. So these things are now they're history. They're factored in. So the markets are now settling down, and it depends what comes next is what's going to drive the markets. But fundamentally, things are looking quite nice. Bitcoin, we are getting more and more adoption. There's potential. Whatever you think of Trump, he does appear to be really positive Bitcoin. So if things go well for Trump, then that would mean Bitcoin is likely to go even better. Especially.
If they start buying it for reserves, all bets are off, man. This thing is really 1 trillion market cap, or 1.1, whatever it is today. It's extremely low market cap for Bitcoin.
Extremely low. And the thing is, we've said it over and over again, but that limited supply, it's as you get demand, if you got demand from government, then yes, absolutely amazing, locking up a massive amount of free Bitcoin, and then you get institutions, pension funds, who buy this stuff for the long term. MicroStrategy, I think they were actively buying in again at the market lows. So just shows when we get these dips, a lot of people panic and sell their positions and basically lose a lot of money. But smart people like Michael Saylor, people like that, are buying in when they see these market sell-offs. And that's what we're trying to encourage on, was it Monday? I think it was Monday. Basically, yep. At the depths of the market, when things are looking really bad, not pile everything in. But again, this word dollar, these words
dollar cost averaging.
Yeah. Time to buy in, add to your position a little bit. And, so far, we can now protect our positions. Whatever you did, if you went in there, you can protect your positions now, guarantee your profit. Just put your stop loss a little bit into profit. You're guaranteed. And if it goes to new all-time highs, you make a lot of money, life-changing money potentially, depending on what you'd invested. But if it goes lower, you make a bit of money and it pays some bills. So either way, you need to act like the big traders in the market, like the Michael Saylors of this world, and even the Warren Buffetts of this world. I say even, when he says, when there's blood in the streets, and that was a tweet that I was putting out, when there's blood in the streets, it's time to buy. And people are nervous, but that's the time
you do it. Dips are for buying, not selling.
Absolutely, yeah. So Book of Memes is another one. I always love. I say when the market's going up, Book of Memes goes up more.
Yeah,
and it went up massively yesterday. We saw a low on Book of Memes of 0.005. Right now, 0.007. So that's 40%. So 40% in just a couple of days. You can't complain at that. And that's when we say,
these are these things, these movements didn't exist before crypto, I don't think.
Leveraged, and you don't need to leverage crypto. That's one of the good things. And again, we've got so many great signals. We didn't have a divergent signal at the bottom on that particular time frame. There may have been on other time frames, but we saw bearish signals telling you to sell at these tops, and we saw a bullish signal telling you to buy down here. And that there weren't any other signals as far as I can see on this time frame, but we had lots of other indications and looking at correlated assets. So I think that's really, really positive. And just finally, I think we probably should look at dollar index. We did meet the bottom of a channel. And again, I'll probably just need to, maybe if I go into daily, probably show it a bit better. We can see we're in some massive converging channel there on dollar index. And what this would basically tell us, we've got a perfect ABC down, in fact. So this is potentially what's called a triangle. A triangle is a pre-terminal move. So potentially this is, if we've got A, B, C, D up higher and then an E lower, and then we potentially rocket higher, and that would align potentially with trouble in the world coming, but it's some way down the line. Looks like it's quite a way down the line. It's not tomorrow. So that tells me that the geopolitical issues in the Middle East and, Ukraine, Russia, etc., are still some way away from boiling over. They're bubbling away, and we can see those troubles clearly, but I think we're some little way away. So dollar index is telling me, and as we say, charts tell you before stuff happens. You don't know quite how or why, but they do. And as we said, with the dollar against the yen, told us precisely when the Japanese were going to be raising interest rates. Crazy stuff, but that's what it's telling us. This is telling us that we're likely to get some higher dollar, lower dollar before we then push massively. Actually, I would have to check where we are in this triangle just to double check where we're moving. Okay, it's actually the other way around. So we're going to get, looks like we started here. So A, B, C, D, E. So it looks like we're going to push up higher. So maybe it is actually a collapse of the dollar that we're looking at. So that would mean, we don't know quite what would cause that in the future, but right now we're looking at appreciating dollar most likely as we head up in this triangle towards the D wave. So I'll label that in future, A, B, C, D, E. So I do think that we're going to head up towards the top of this trend channel. And at the moment, dollar appears to be correlating because, as I say, the reason for this sell-off was the yen carry trade. So that yen carry trade, whilst it unwound very quickly, now it's actually winding up again. It's like a coiled spring winding up again. And as it winds up towards the top here, when we actually see real trouble in the world, and this happened in 2008, you can check the charts. 2008, we saw massive yen appreciation. And, that's what, dollar yen absolutely collapsed at that time. And that's what we'll expect to happen. So I think most likely we're going to see dollar yen, the yen carry trade winding up again gradually, ready for a massive rapid unwind at some point in the future. Could be wrong here. Don't know how long it'll take to get to this top, and we have to look at the internal waves. I can't predict how long it'll take to get from down here to up here, but it could well be end of the year, and we start to see then maybe another go of this unwinding of the yen carry. So for the time being, though, I think things are looking okay. So for now, market's looking good. Hopefully, we're going to see new all-time highs on Bitcoin and maybe S&P and maybe a few other assets. So as I say, I think it's if you jumped in long as we suggested, DCA did long the other day. Protect your positions, hang on, because I think we're going higher and it's looking good. So that's it for today. Thank you, Bruce.
It's looking good. We're going higher for now. Fingers crossed. Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure, guys. Make sure to take profits as well. Okay, take profits and put in your stop losses.
Absolutely. If you don't take profits, there's no point. Even looking at your trades.
Right. You're just on an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. Thanks. Well, I look forward to catching up. Week goes fast. Tomorrow's Thursday, isn't it? So I think there'll be a bit of news out of America. So we'll catch up on all the things that are happening and look forward to tomorrow.
Cheers. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Bruce. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
So I should have had Bitcoin Ben on today, but I have a lot going on myself, so I didn't get to him. So hopefully I have him on tomorrow. I am going to interview Stephen Melnick a little bit later. I'm going to record that interview, and we will be we might play it in bits and pieces. Now, of course, Stephen Melnick contacted me the other day. Him and I have been friends for a long time. He came and spoke at my very first Washington Elite AI Blockchain Summit way back when. I guess way back when is a relative term. 6-7 years ago now. It feels like way back when. Back when Bitcoin was, I think we were at $3,500 or something like that. I forget. Anyway, good times, and we've always stayed in touch. He's doing his Lives Amplified program there, Lives Amplified, and that is a group that you can get involved with. and it's very interesting, the group that he has put together. So I am going to interview him. We're going to talk. I am working with them to put this together. Lives Amplified. He's put together an amazing group of people that he's working with here. Lives Amplified. I just wanted to go over some of the board members here that you can see. Board members include, there he is. That's Stephen Melnick, that's my friend right there. Former president of Colombia, former prime minister of Montenegro, former president of Bolivia, former minister of Haiti, former interim president of Venezuela, former minister of Tunisia, former president of Ecuador, on and on and on. So very interesting group here. It is a membership. It's like our similar to our coin, our gold at cost metal. You can be a member of that, and it is they do different events and stuff. So we're going to plug in with him. He, like I said, he's a good friend of mine, and excited for that. So I will interview him today. Looking forward to that, and I'll have more of that coming as well. Tomorrow, I'll do another recorded interview with Bo Paulney. If you're not following Bo Paulney yet, you should follow him. Follow him on X. I'm not sure what his at is. Let me just look here. Bo Paulney. It's funny because guys like this, the X algorithm, they never show Bo and I each other. Well, of course, I guess I'm not following him. Let me follow him. He's following me. Okay. But Bo Paulney, he's Bo Paulney on here. I'll just share this as well. Share instead. He is Bo Paulney on X. So make sure to follow him. Bo Paulney, and I'm going to interview him tomorrow. And he's a big gold guy as well. The gold 2020 forecast. He has analyst of time. Very interesting guy. And yeah, so he's a character. But Bo Paulney, check him out. Good guy, and I'm looking forward to interviewing. So those two big interviews I have lined up. Actually, so three. So and then I think I'm gonna try to get Bitcoin Ben on tomorrow morning, 6:45 a.m. He says he can probably do it. So I'll try to get that. Bitcoin Ben, an absolute legend. If you're not following Bitcoin Ben, you should do that right away. Bitcoin Ben is a legend. Ben Banshee. Anyway, I also wanted to talk about, of course, we have our good friends over at, as the markets start to rebound here, our good friends over at Polka Gold and Dalgo. Polka Gold and Dalgo, these two assets have been absolutely great through all of this. Polka Gold right now, let me just pull them up. Share this tab. Polka Gold at this point right now has, I think the market cap dipped with everything else, and their locked liquidity is almost on par with the market cap. So, if the global market goes up, which it might bounce around a little bit, but we all think it will probably continue going up. This thing kind of has only one way to go. Not financial advice and all that good stuff we're supposed to say. They initially was started by whales of Polkadot and whales of Algorand, and they locked the liquidity. And even if you look right here, market cap here was 321. It's at least it's about 3x that by now, maybe a little less at the moment. But that's the one they put up there. It was fair launch. They locked everything in there. They had the liquidity. It was an Algorand. Polkadot emerges as a digital parallel to traditional gold, encapsulating trust and reliability in the digital age. Limited to a Genesis production of 10 million coins, Polka Gold is designed to uphold the principles of scarcity and non-inflation, available now on Tinyman. You can also stake this, and the staking is something like 50% annually, and it is non-inflationary. So very interesting setup that they have to stake. So Polka Gold, go to polkagold.tech to check them out. I'll go right over to their Twitter here as well. P Gold Official. it trades under P Gold. Okay. So this is actually talking about their non-inflationary rewards 4 ways. So currently P Gold and Algo liquidity pool tokens can earn non-inflationary rewards 4 ways. 1, in Algo governance participation, 2, in Algo targeted DeFi rewards, and P Gold targeted DeFi rewards, and then LP trading fees. All 4 can be done concurrently for a 50% annual percentage yield at the moment. Currently, we are in position to add a 5th way to earn non-inflationary rewards and take the APY well above 50%. So these guys, it's a classic example. They just keep building. They keep building. They have a great community. Keep building. I know I talk about them all the time because it's one of those ones I like for people to participate. I want you to have a nice way out too if you want to way out. And all that locked liquidity gives me, I feel good about that. The P Gold and Algo pool is one of the leading pools by votes to earn tiny tokens, as well as staking P Gold and Algo liquidity pool tokens, sitting at 9.42% of the votes. They're a voting thing. If you have tiny tokens locked in tiny governance, make sure to vote. So yeah, you see here, I'll go ahead and I reposted it, but I'll repost it again here to get it out there. Now, they started a meme coin called Dalgo. And Dalgo is a fun meme token. And basically, these things are like they're like the advertising branch, right? They're like the advertising branch of the currency. And when they did this, what they did was they locked up. Is this the Dalgo anthem? I'll play the Dalgo anthem here. When they started Dalgo, they went to the community, and the community.
Yeah. Dalgo is the meme killer. Catching up with your thriller. House party lights all flashing.
They locked up
relaxing. Flexing in the VIP. Bitches trying to feel it
of the
free.
total
Thug life, we wildin' out. Nothing but that money cloud. Dalgo, we ballin' worldwide.
And they put it in
money we can't hide. Poppin' tags like it's FOMO in the streets. No time for lows. Drinking hand, it's a vibe. Haters watching, trying to snipe. We bring the heat, no denying. In the club, Dalgo flying. Got my crew, yeah, we deep. Stacking sats, no time for sleep. Bitches dancing, feel that fire. Dalgo fam, we taking it high. Dalgo, we ballin' worldwide. Make money we can't hide. Poppin' tags like it's FOMO in the streets. No time for lows. Drinking hand, it's a vibe. Haters watching, trying to snipe. We bring the heat, no denying. In the club, Dalgo flying. Got my crew, yeah, we deep. Stacking sats, no time for sleep. Bitches dancing, feel that fire. Dalgo fam, we taking it high. Dalgo, we falling worldwide. Make money we can't hide. Popping tags like it's FOMO in the streets. No time for lows. Drinking hand, it's a vibe. Haters watching, trying to snipe. We bring the heat, no denying. In the club, Dalgo's flying. Got my crew, yeah, we deep. Stacking sats, no time for sleep. Bitches dancing, feel that fire. Dalgo fam, we taking it higher. New York City, we own the night. The Dalgo fam, we ready to fight. Meme lords, we taking over. Flip the script, we got the clover. All these critters wanna front, but we grinding, never stunt. Dalgo making big moves. In the game, we got the groove. So raise your glass, let's toast to the ones who do the most. Thug the life, we live in bold. Dalgo worldwide, watch it unfold. Dalgo, we falling worldwide. Make money we can't hide. Popping tags like it's FOMO in the streets. No time for lows. So remember the name is clear. Dalgo's here. Bring the cheer. Being money, house party high. We the kings, watch us fly.
When you look at some of these other
remember the name, it's clear. Dalgo's here, bring the cheer. Name money, house party high. We the kings, watch us fly.
Same people. And you have Algorand, and Algorand is it was made by. Let me just pull that down. It was made by an Italian guy, and they have this ecosystem and everything else. Well, thank you, Lisa. Thank you for watching. It's always good to see you here. Let's see here. Boom, boom, boom. Doggo. So yes, and speaking of the interviews, so Trump Elon interview takes place on Monday. Yes, it's going to be it's going to break the internet, right? I mean, this is going to be absolutely crazy. Everyone's going to watch this, the entire world. Elon Musk and Trump. I remember back in the day, they said that the Queen of England was so famous that you could take her picture in like the huts of Africa where nobody ever saw anybody, and you could show her picture and they all knew that was the Queen of England. And the same thing was true with Michael Jackson. You could go anywhere in the world. I mean, it didn't matter where it was, and you could show them a picture of Michael Jackson and everybody knew who Michael Jackson was. And we're at that point now with Elon Musk and Trump, where you can go anywhere in the world and you can show them a picture of President Trump and they know that's Trump. And you can show them a picture of Elon Musk and they know that's Elon Musk. And touching on that too, with the assassination attempt on Putin that was foiled, it was supposed to be on the 28th, and the assassination attempt on Trump on the 13th. This year, July was supposed to be a hot month, man. And they talk about taking out, these are like these are giants in the space, in the world. These guys just assassinate these people. We need to identify who ordered the assassinations, because I can tell you have the assassination attempt of two of the most influential political figures of our time in the same month, and that order came from the same person. That order came from the same person. Group of people, you can say, but still at the group, there's one person at the top. So who ordered the assassination of President Putin and President Trump in the same month? Who did it? We need to figure that out. We figure out who ordered the assassination, and number one, we need to hold him and those people who participated in it accountable. But we're also then going to be able to kind of move our way forward. Of course, I think probably, I have my thoughts on it. I won't dig into it right now. Speculation, I suppose, but it's not total speculation. But somebody, they didn't just try to assassinate two heads of state, one former, okay, fine, in the same month without that being coordinated. You got to think critically here. So then who ordered the assassinations? Probably a big reason why Putin and Russia got involved in Iran after they foiled that plot. He saw that he had no choice but to be involved over there. And I think that, with this meeting that they have over there, they're having an emergency meeting of 57 different countries in the Middle East. And they're going to talk about how to stop a major regional war in the area. And that is in the best interest of everybody involved. Stop the killing. Stop the killing, guys. Stop the killing. And once we stop the killing, then we can do stuff. And it's bad too. Eastern Europe is the same way. My brother just sent me he just sent me a video or a post. Guys trying to sneak out of the Ukraine. They don't want to go and be sent to the front lines. It's horrible what's going on over there. Hundreds of thousands, beautiful people dead. And we need to stop the killing, guys. Stop the killing. It's not human. It's inhuman. Don't just stop the killing. We don't have to like each other. We don't have to trust each other. We just calm down. Calm down. Actually, when you are upset, your entire thinking and everything, once you blow up and you get mad, your entire physiology and everything changes. You can't even get back to making rational decisions for 7 hours is the average that it takes. 7 hours that it takes. Craziness. I wanted to also talk, TON, and we didn't talk about TON ecosystem today, but I'll pull it up here. I'm about to finish. If you're not following me on Instagram, you can follow me at Modeling Agent. I have to end that live stream. They only let you do a 1 hour live stream on Instagram. So I just had to end that one there. I wanted to look at TON coin because TON coin has really been overperforming. So if we look here at, let me share my screen again here. If we look at the crypto market cap here, this is CoinGecko. Bitcoin, we can see right here. I'll just make this a little bigger for everybody. Up almost 4% on 24-hour, down everything now. Of course, Bitcoin took a little bit of a dive here, and so everything is kind of following it here, right? You have Ethereum down 1% in the last hour. I mean, look at these massive numbers, though, for the 7-day. I mean, this is just, these are big numbers. These are big numbers. Down 24% on Ethereum, and holy smokes, right? BNB down 15%. But anyway, 9% up on Solana over the last 24 hours. Major move, right? 3.5% on Bitcoin is pretty good. XRP 2.5%, but still big move downward on these. The Doge, the Doggy coin, 10 cents up here. TON coin, though. Here we go. TON coin. You can see here we have XRP down 20%. Lido Staked Ether down 24%. Doggy coin, Dogecoin, as they call it, down 20%. TON coin only down 16% and up 4.7 on the day. 5.73. It's number 10 right now. I'm telling you guys, we are going to one day we're going to look at this and we are going to say, wow, I cannot believe that it was that price. Not financial advice and all that good stuff that we're supposed to say, but the ecosystem here is absolutely exploding. One of the ones, of course, that I am involved with as well is this dog or flower, really fun coin. One of the cool things about TON is, all the transactions and everything else that you can do on it. I mean, it's like 1 million or something transactions per second. It works really well. It's really fast. And then you have these different coins like dog or flower that are on here. And these things are, in my opinion, a real steal right now because you can do a lot with these things. This community is absolutely wonderful. Let me see here, Twitter, dog or flower. This is their Twitter. It is fun. It's a fun meme coin, okay? And you can see, I mean, they're this is the whiff, the dog whiff hat, which has a multi-billion-dollar market cap of TON. So just explaining it to everybody. Each of these ecosystems, the TON ecosystem, the Algorand ecosystem, the Ethereum ecosystem, the Solana ecosystem, they all have their coins on them, right? And so right now there's not a dog whiff hat. Dog whiff hat, just to give you guys more of a so you understand here, dog whiff. So here is dog whiff hat right here. And it's number 48 in the world right now, dog whiff hat. So everybody's always talking about this one at $1.73. Look at this, 25% up today. Okay, 25% up today. Now it's 24% down on the week, so it's probably down 50%. I'm not sure. I was looking at that. The total market cap here, 1.7 billion. Okay, 1.7 billion. So it's massive. It's massive. Okay, but each of these has their own ecosystem of coins and their own group and their own people. Like, I have become a bit of a TON maxi, admittedly. I think that it's a lot of room to grow. I think the community is growing. I am on their different spaces, and I wouldn't say a TON maxi. Maxi is the wrong word. I've become a big TON supporter. Okay, Also, I'm a big ton holder. I think that it's, and I keep grabbing more because on these dips, but this ecosystem is exploding. You get on those X spaces and there's like tons of people every time. People are on there. People are excited to build on it. They're excited to talk about it, and it's easy to build on. And that's one of the things I look at as well. It's easy to build on. So Ton is definitely one to keep your eye on. And then as well, you talk about coins that we like on it, and you have the dog with flower. And of course, Jana here, she's going back and forth with some of the people. Jana, she's one of the favorites, KOLs, as they call them, known opinion leaders. More here.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour,
Hey, Gandalf. There's one of my posts there. So, dog or flower, it trades under or, dollar or. Check them out, dog or flower. And you can keep your dog or flower actually on your Tangem card. If you are going to do tangem.com, and make sure to use your code Impact Money. Tangem.com, nice hardware wallet, $50 or $60 entry price. Get yours today. Make sure to use code Impact Money. Get yourself 10% discount. They also have this ring. Okay. Check this thing out. This works in life. You can get that. You can get the ring, and that ring comes with 2 cards. Smart backup during activation. The ring's built-in chip generates a random private key. Remember, not your keys, not your coins. And that ensures that it cannot be compromised. The private key is stored in the ring and the 2 Tangem cards. So no other copies across the space and time. So you can then store it in your safe, store it in your safety deposit box, and you can wear it. And most people won't even know it's there. And you travel around the world or whatever, and always have access to your crypto. That's new. That's new. You can roll around with $1 million, a couple $1 million on your finger, and that's pretty awesome. So the other guys I wanted to talk about, of course, was the Coin Vigilante watches. CoinVigilante.com. Here again, you can use your code Impact Money. Let's see here, Coin Vigilante, 10% discount. Use code Impact Money here for your Coin Vigilante watches. These watches are inspired by the monetary revolution. Bitcoin Ben is involved in this one. I think I'm going to try to have Bitcoin Ben on the show tomorrow. I am pretty tasked these days, as you do, right? As you get, and of course, I'm trying to record my song too, the Rothschild tax, so we can share it. I know I've been talking about it. Beautiful American-made timepieces here. Make sure to check out your Coin Vigilante watches. Use code Impact Money. Get yourself 10% discount on that. Now, one of the things that has fueled the monetary revolution, and I've spoken about the monetary revolution around the world multiple times, many, many, many times, on stages around the world. I was talking about the monetary revolution in Moscow, in Kiev, in Asia, the Middle East, all over America, Latin America. The monetary revolution. It's a monetary revolution. And the reason we have a monetary revolution is because of these people. And when you see Trump come out and he's in favor now of Bitcoin, and his sons are coming out, and it's crypto. And actually, they're saying that there's going to be a big, I guess, reveal or something that they're talking about on this interview on Monday, I guess. Networks manager, Trump Reserve. So I put out a post yesterday. I just quoted one of my friends here, but I want to show you because they're like floating, like what's gonna happen here. So I said here, boom, make this larger. So I said, is the Federal Reserve about to get replaced by the Trump Reserve? And I'll just follow this back here. So this is Eric Trump says, this is 15 hours ago, I have truly fallen in love with crypto /DeFi. Stay tuned for a big announcement. And then Donald Trump Jr. says, big things coming. This is the future. Stay tuned for a big announcement. So I guess they didn't say the announcement was going to be on Monday. It was just everything happening. And then, of course, I quoted that and said, wait, I had to go back, I guess. Is the Federal Reserve about to get replaced with the Trump Reserve? Anyway, the point is, I don't really know if Trump was so in tune with these guys enslaving everybody in his last presidency, but he seems to have figured it out. Yes, Monday is the interview. Monday on X. It's going to be live. The X servers are going to be like going crazy. They're going to be burning up. So now he seems to have X servers figured out what's going on here. And yeah, this is what I said about the X servers. X servers on Monday for the big President Trump and Elon Musk interview. I'm just overheated. That's how the servers are going to be. Those bad boys are going to be overheated. If you're not following me on X, follow me on X at Networks Manager. Well, I'm still allowed to be there. Hopefully they'll let me be there. I've been there a long time. I love Twitter. I was working with the API on Twitter back a long time ago. I hope it's broadcast other than on Spaces too. I hope it's a real interview. The Spaces are fine. I don't particularly care for them too much, but you should be able to listen to it on your computer now. I don't know if I think that might be a new addition. I'm able to listen to it on my computer. Just having a conversation with one of my friends here. I hope it's broadcast not on Space because on a laptop, I'm not able to listen in. Should be able to listen in though. But these people, Trump has got it now figured out. These people right here they actually own the United States because they own the money supply. They can print as much money as they want, and they can tax us as much as they want. The deal is, as much money as they print, the amount of money that goes to service the debt, the interest, is the amount of money always that is collected in the federal income tax. And this is another reason why I am worried that we're not too big to rig. And that I think and that's why they've just tried to and they might keep trying to assassinate Trump, because Trump gets in, he's not going to raise taxes. And now he's already floating Bitcoin and crypto and everything else, which is not using the Federal Reserve. Because what we should do, they claim that we owe them $35 trillion. And just to put that into perspective, the Bitcoin market cap is like $1 trillion right now. $35 trillion is a lot of money. put it in another perspective for you. In 2023, we only printed up 6.1. It was either 6.1 or 6.4 trillion. I think it was 6.1. Either way, let's say 6. A little over 6. We only printed up approximately $6 trillion from the Treasury. And remember how our money is working right now. Money comes in from the income tax. It's not really reused. It just, burned. And then we just mint up whatever more that we want. The way it works is we just mint what we want. And they try to take the liquidity. They try to remove the dollars from the market and by market making and other ways, which is pretty effective. I mean, if you have an endless supply of dollars to market make, you can do some crazy market making. That's for sure. But the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Morgans, the Warburgs, the Goldman Sachs, Lehman, Kuhn Loeb, Lazard, Israel Moses Schiff, and Stillman, these are the families who own the Federal Reserve. And it's important that you know that. Even before I started doing the show and talking about it every day, people would even still contact me and say, oh no, the Federal Reserve is not owned by anybody. Do you think that these people started a bank and they don't own it? I mean, come on, folks. So they have put this central banking system across most of the world, and actually the places that they don't have the central banking system in, we're at war with. And that's why, again, the whole Maduro thing in Venezuela is kind of funny because, Maduro he doesn't let the central banking cartel in. So I think that's interesting, right? So I actually did a quick video. I'm going to play it now. How the central banking cartel conquered Europe without a shot. It's a quick video, but it's worth it, and it kind of explains how a lot of this stuff works. If you haven't seen it before, I'm going to play it again here. There we go. So I'm back in Paris here to cover Paris Blockchain Week. Very important event here. Everybody pretty much is going to be here. I am at the museum, the Louvre Museum, or Museum des Louvre, as they call it here in France. One of the things I've been talking about over all these years that we have been friends and I've been broadcasting is the monetary revolution and how important it is. What I wanted to touch on is, of course, I'll cover a lot of things over the next few days. I'll talk to a lot of people and bring you a lot of very interesting projects and technology and everything else. But the underlying message that I always have is the monetary revolution. And it's very interesting. And one of the ways that I understand really so much about the monetary revolution is what I saw happen in Europe. So I was lucky enough to start traveling a few decades ago before the euro was enacted. Before they started doing the euro, I was traveling around Europe, very, very cheap, very wonderful, still very beautiful. I mean, it's unbelievable here. You can just see behind me. It's just absolutely unbelievable. But the central banking cartel was able to conquer all of Europe without firing a shot. And how did they do that? How did they pull that off? It was very simple. And understanding this and seeing it happen is really important. It's something I want you guys to understand as well. I know many of you probably do. They did it with the currency. It was very simple. So they said, come on to our currency. Come on to our currency. We'll give you free money. We'll finance the things that you want to finance. Is really the same way as well. The U.S. got on the Federal Reserve System. We were having issues there, and the central bank said, no problem. We'll bail you out. We'll give you all the money that you need. Okay. And then in the dark of night, they passed the Federal Reserve Act, which now we have a privately held central bank. But back to Europe and what happened here and what I witnessed happened here. It was the slow boil like we experience all over the world, right? These people operate in decades and centuries. It's very interesting, really, how many decades and whatnot that it takes sometimes. I guess, though, I was fairly quick. But they started, okay, we'll give you free money. We will finance what you want. just come on to the euro. Come on to the euro system. And this euro, of course, is paper money, right? They can print whatever they want of it. And remember, the central bank doesn't produce anything other than paper money. I mean, obviously, they make the monetary policy, interest rates, stuff like this. There's some market making that goes on there. But overall, it's not like they're producing anything really that makes money. It's like the government. The government really doesn't make money. They're not good at making money. So when the central bank says that they're going to pay for stuff, all they're doing is diluting you in order to pay for it. So they'll print up more money. They'll pay for whatever you want. They'll pay for their enormous salaries, as well as everything else that they do. They'll pay for all types of wars and government spending and everything like that. But all they're doing is taking it from you. There's no real value there. And then once that they have the people on the dole, they're able to then put people in power and, of course, influence policy, right? So now you have a situation where everybody's beholden to the central bank. You have pretty much all of Europe on this euro system, and now they have a new government. And what is that new government? Of course, they have a parliament and they have blah, 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 and everything else, but the new government is the central bank. That's who is in charge, and that was how they were able to take over the entirety of Europe, and they did it by stealing the people's money slowly. They stole it slowly, so it wasn't so obvious for everybody. And at first it was so nice, and they had, this and that and the other. But now you go to Europe, it's much more expensive. And they're doing the same thing that we do. They just print up more and more money. And when they print up more and more money, that, of course, dilutes your holdings and makes you worth less. And that's the way it works. It's the biggest scam in the world. They've done it very successfully over almost all of these countries. Russia still doesn't use a central bank. And as well, we have Syria that doesn't use a central bank. Gaddafi tried it. They killed him. But yeah, pretty interesting. And that's how Europe fell without a shot. There is a central government, obviously, now in Europe. You have the European Union. And they are in charge. They're in charge of all of these countries. And the central bank, the European central bank, is in charge of them. And that is the same central banking cartels that runs the country in the United States and Brazil and all the other countries of the world. It was a big scam. We have to stop it. We can stop it. It's not going to be easy. But we'll talk about it more on the show tomorrow, on the Impact Money Show. We're going to bring you a lot of great interviews. We're super excited about it here to be at Paris Blockchain Week. Back in Paris, beautiful Paris. I mean, absolutely is just unbelievable place. Paris is so beautiful. See you soon. So, sometimes you say, okay, let me just go ahead and grab this moment. It was very interesting walking away. And the thing is, I know a lot of you guys are watching from the United States. And you see the videos and you think, oh my gosh, Europe has fallen, France has fallen, this and that and the other. And the truth is, we are worse off here. You just see some little video clips of this and some little video clips of that. But as far as the breaking apart of the people and the identity and the amount of that's happened, we are worse off here. You just don't realize it. You go around Europe and you realize, oh, okay, all right. Well, for the most part, France is still for the French. For the most part. Now, in the pockets of different places, France is still for the French. Italy is still for Italians. And then they have, but this migration has happened over the last 20 years, 25 years since the central banking cartel took over Europe. It happened to us over the last 75 years since World War II. And we're way worse. To be very frank with you, we are way worse off. It's true. The problem is that in order for somebody to really, what should happen, of course, is we should send everybody back. No hard feelings. Got to go back. But the reality of making that happen is very hard. And, even for a candidate to come out with such a hard platform, I know Trump floats it sometimes, but then, in the same breath, he's, I'm going to be president for everybody and this and that and the other. And I mean, got to get elected, right? If he came out, all he was going to do is deport everybody, send everybody packing, probably wouldn't get elected. I mean, he says it sometimes. I don't think that's what's going to happen. It would be nice if it did, and hopefully things have changed. But I mean, the last time he got in, of course, next thing you knew, you had to have a heart for DACA. That was one of his lines. That was when I had to step away from Twitter and everything else after that for a little while. It's like, okay. But the reality is that just like we have over in the Middle East, that everybody's human. And so when you get in a position of actually being the person who pulls the trigger, we're all human. And it's hard to pull that trigger. And you want everybody to have a chance at life and a chance at success and everything else. So I get it. And that's why I'm pessimistic over the thought of us. I mean, let's even talk about the 20 million that came since 2020. I mean, those for sure should be sent back, right? I mean, we had a funny election, and then we get this guy in here, and then they bring in 20 million more people. Well, those 20 million, for sure, they should be sent back, right? I don't know. And then you watch what's happening over in Britain right now, and of course they're protesting and everything else. What they should do is charter a boat, put those people on the boat, and send them back, right? Send them back over the channel. I don't know, send them back wherever they came from. Charter a plane, put them on the plane, send them back. Squabbling in the street ain't going to do nothing, guys. It's not going to do anything. And then as well, if you're going to protest in the streets, protest against the central banking cartel who brought them there. Because remember, I just played the video how it all happened around the turn of the century, okay? And since then is when they started bringing in all of the migrants. And they did it on purpose. You got to realize, for the central banking cartel, every new person that comes in is money for them. It takes it from you, they give it to them, and they charge interest when they do it. And not only that, but they create turmoil and chaos, which is what they want, so that they can install more power and more laws and rules. So let me break that down for you one more time, just in case you didn't hear me. Every migrant that comes into the U.S., that comes into the different countries of Europe, they issue a new bond for those people, okay? And that they create more money for that person, and then they have more money that they can trade. Now, when they do that, the money comes from somewhere. Where does it come from? It comes by diluting the money supply, which means they take it from you. So every new migrant that comes in is more money for the central bank, and they get to take it from you. That's the big scam, guys. There's a lot of big scams with the central bank, but this is one of the big ones. People don't understand why so many people are coming into the country. Well, I'll tell you why. I just told you. Big reason right there. It's more money. And it's not just more money. It's they get to take more money from you. And the reason why it's so much out of the working class and out of the normal people is because those are the people that are in the US dollar. And those are people that are in the euro. The super wealthy will have more of their money in the stocks, in Bitcoin, in real estate, and these other things that will inflate along with everything else. And that's why the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. I mean, I just explained it like twice. Every newcomer that comes in, they mint up money for it, basically. They mint up money. And when they mint up money, they dilute it. Every newcomer that comes in, they steal money from you to give to them. That's it. So, and then as they steal the money from you and give it to them, they collect 3 to 5% off of that transaction. Every $100 billion, they make $3 to $5 billion on. And that's why we supposedly owe $35 trillion to the Federal Reserve, to the central bank, to the U.S. central banking cartel. $35 trillion we owe them. We'll never pay it. We can never, it's not designed to even be paid back. It's just designed to enslave. It's designed to take all our money. The result is enslavement. We can never pay back $35 trillion. One of the main reasons we can't pay back $35 trillion is because you pay it back in dollars, and every dollar is attached 3 to 5% more debt. So it's impossible. The result is slavery. So what we need to do is have a good old Boston Tea Party. Tell these guys, take a hike. We're closing the Federal Reserve. We're not paying you back. They didn't lend us the money anyway. That's the thing. They actually stole all of our gold in 1933. They stole all your family's gold with the help of Roosevelt. They did the executive order. You can look it up. 1601, I think it was, executive order. And they took everybody's gold, $10,000, which is the equivalent of $1 million. They stole everyone's gold. If you didn't turn in your gold, you were fined $10,000, which is the equivalent of about $1 million right now. They gave you $25 per ounce. It's $2,500 per ounce right now. Why? Because they diluted the money supply that much. And when I say they diluted the money supply, they stole the value. They stole the money from you. That's what diluting the money supply does, is to steal it from the people that have it. And that's why we're in this position. And that's why they love the migration. 2 reasons. One, it's more money for them. They get to tax you more money. Every person that comes in, they get to take more of your money. Every single person that comes in, they get to take money from you. And then it also serves their purpose of utter and complete chaos. It's like Andrew Tate talked about on his on one of his he put out a video. And he says if you put red ants and black ants in a jar and you just sit it there, they won't fight. They'll just kind of go on about their business. But if you take the jar and you shake it up like this and you put it down, then they start fighting. The red ants think that the black ants did it. The black ants think the red ants did it. And then they're mad and then they're fighting. And that's what you see right now in Britain. And that's what they want to happen here as well. And probably it might. That serves their purpose because they are able to put more laws in. Then you're not able to say anything. You can't say anything. But anyway, you shouldn't be saying anything about that. You should be saying stuff about them. It's one of the reasons why I talk about it on the show every day. One day, they're going to try to stop me. They already have, actually, in different ways. I won't talk about it. From saying end the Fed every day. End the Fed. End the central banking cartels rule over me and my family, over you and your family. End this slavery system. In the Constitution of the United States, we are not supposed to use anything but gold or silver. End the Fed. End the Fed. What? We have to do it. And that's why I have Thomas Massey up here. My main man, Thomas Massey. My main man. One day soon, I'll have to get together with him. But he is leading the charge to end the Fed. We need to end the Fed. It's very important. All right, well, it's been a heck of a show. I have, of course, I'm going to interview Stephen Melnick, as I talked about a little bit earlier. I'm going to interview the great Stephen Melnick a bit later today. I'm going to interview Bo Pawnee tomorrow. Hopefully, I will have, those will be recorded interviews, and then hopefully I'll have great Ben, Bitcoin Ben on in the morning. I'm going to call it a wrap. I'll be back on your TVs here in a few hours. Cheers.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.